everybody, welcome back to another Toonkind 12 FPS. It's Uni. I'll be playing Xan the Wizard as well as a bunch of Not Toons as I do. And I'm joined by my very good friend.
Hello, hello. My name is Fable, and I will be playing the Antlered King. He's warlock to his displeasure, and I'm so excited for this game.
Oh, we've been very excited for this.
Oh man, how long have we been planning
You're
this? This has been a while.
oh man. I mean, the plan has manifested in bits and pieces over a long period of time. You should
Amen.
probably, if you haven't listened to some of the previous things going on in this series, Potions One notions, but as well as recent FPS between Blink lately and Xan Adieu will be coming into play here. And just in general, there's been a lot of things happening, a lot of build up to this point, and it's going to be very good. That being said, why don't we stop overhyping everybody and get into it?
Heck yeah! Heck yeah! Heck yeah!
So it has been a fortnight, that is 2 weeks, uh, since Antler last visited and began the potion brewing process with Xan. And have you, obviously you're coming back. Have you like messaged to him ahead of time to let him know you're on your way, or have you prepared anything for the trip, etc., or
Um,
are you just coming?
Antler has come as he is. He has sent a message ahead of time, uh, for Xan to expect him,
Mm-hmm.
because Antler has definitely been keeping track of the 2 weeks, even though for him it's actually been a rather busy 2 weeks for him. Uh, Anyone listens to Ruined All Rambles, you will know why. But if you don't worry about it. Uh, but yeah, he's been busy, and now he's on his way.
Mm-hmm. Um, and I will say, yeah, you arrive at the clearing in the woods that serves as Zan's home, and I'll just real quick make a perception check for Mr. Wizard Man.
Who's on guard duty right now, or who's on patrol? Watch. Can't remember what you called it.
Uh, yeah, on duty.
On
Well,
duty,
you
yeah.
don't know yet. You haven't you haven't seen. Oh yeah.
20, 24. Dang.
Yeah, pretty much as soon as you like step into the clearing, you see Zan, who is outdoors. He sort of looks over the edge of his raised garden, and he goes, "Ah, wait just a moment." And you can see on sort of the opposite side of the clearing, one of the boars has sort of like latched onto eye contact with you, and Xana's sort of moving to interfere. um,
Antler has stopped, but he's also keeping eye contact with the boar, unintimidated,
mhm.
and just
Well,
waiting to see what the boar does before Xan gets there.
uh, well, the boar is certainly sort of barreling towards you before Xan quickly comes over and sort of stands in her way. There's a brief exchange of words that is fairly quiet, and you can't make it out before sort of spins her around, and she appears to be distracted. Dan then takes a deep breath, sort of dusts himself off. He was, working in the garden, so he's not like in the full wizardly robe thing. He's uh, uh, been in outdoorsy mode. And he begins walking over to you.
Charming,
Hello.
charming welcome, I see. And he says that as he's still watching the boar, who I assume is just walking away now after being distracted.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. He goes, well, people tend to act in interesting ways around here when someone enters our territory. It is good of you to revisit. Would you care to come up?
Of course. That's it. Is it ready?
I believe so.
Let us hope then. And yeah, Antler is not gonna say much else as he will follow Xan.
Xan will make idle conversation. I assume you've kept yourself quite busy in the 2 weeks since we last met.
There's never short of work to do, so yes. And I can assume the same of you.
Quite the same.
Should I roll insight during this conversation?
Maybe you should.
Okay. Where are you? Insight, there you are. It's a 7. It's a 2 plus 5. Oh boy.
Yeah, you are not picking anything up, really.
I think Antler's maybe not looking at Xan as they're walking. I think he's keeping an eye out for any other Not Toons that are on duty.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. As you head up, like passing through the garden area on the way up to the inner room, you can see that a couple of the Not Toons who, are off duty, uh, are sitting there and they give you a wary look. The little wolf is there and she waves at you.
Antler gives most of them just a passing glance. A passing glance. He's used to this, but his gaze does linger a bit on the small tune that's waving for a moment or two longer before he continues following after Xan.
Um, so yeah, Zan leads you inside, and you could see the potion is in there, and it has turned a rather lovely golden color, and it's just sort of uh, it's still steaming, but the magic fire underneath it has gone out. Um,
Oh, that reminds me. Let me put up the title card. I'm very creative with title cards. There we go.
that's the one. And Zan closes the door behind you, and he goes, it certainly seems to have coalesced into, well, how I believe it's meant to look, which is a rather good sign.
It is promising, though I would not hold your breath. I think he's gonna have a look at the Antler's gonna come closer to the potion, the cauldron, and have a look at the potion. Then he will go over to the near desk, wherever because I assume the recipe should still be the recipe that they put out for this potion that they had made.
Yeah,
Yeah, and
yeah,
he's gonna double check because again he hasn't been here in the last 2 weeks, so
sure. Yeah, it's mostly been Zan caretaking it.
yeah, mostly just checking to make sure nothing's
Hmm.
amiss. It may be a slight inspection. Sorry, Zan, he is aware you're a good wizard, but It's Antler. He's got to check. He's got to do his own checking.
Sure, sure. Um, and Zan is just sort of watching Antler move about the room, do his inspection, and finally he goes, "You know, I feel that before we continue, we need to clear the air about something."
Hmm. And Antler will slowly pause and turn to look at Xan, not at all looking surprised at this. Go on.
I consider myself to have been fairly tolerant, knowing history can be muddied or tinted by those who write it. And I like to believe that someone of your talent and potential. No, I wanted to trust the best in what you were planning.
You're beating around the bush. Get to the point.
I do not appreciate police.
And
And I
Antler
have
raises a brow at that, but he doesn't interrupt.
I have heard tale of some of the things that you have been up to up north in Little Corner. And I'm sure you are doing the best you can with the circumstance that you have found yourself in since returning to, well, the world at large.
I'm gonna roll an insight again.
Mm
10.
hmm. um, I mean, you're certainly picking up that he's annoyed about something.
Oh no, no, yeah, I'd say with a 10 and with what he's saying, definitely. Though Antler can't quite guess why, because he's thinking back, and you definitely see that thoughtful look on his face as he's trying to think of what you're talking about. Then he goes, "Perhaps you should elaborate. What exactly have you heard?"
Well, I've heard that those who wander well, into your path, more or less, tend to get pushed around and intimidated and treated less than how I would hope a host would. I understand that you have perhaps a reputation that you're trying to reclaim, or perhaps you just just may be a bit frustrated with where your circumstances are. However, I do not take kindly to news of someone of great influence and ability using it to push around those who have done nothing to slight them.
I must admit, Mr. Adieu, I actually haven't the slightest idea of what you are referring to, and you are going to need
Oh,
to elaborate plainly.
simply put, I know that you have been intimidating people who run into you.
I do that with everybody. I don't know if you've
Yes, you
noticed.
do.
It tends to happen when you have a face such as this. And he gestures to his face, which is a skeleton's face.
There's one thing about being looming, being imposing, and taking out your frustration on people.
I'm having the suspicion that you are thinking of someone specific.
I am, but you don't need, it doesn't matter who. The point I am trying to make, Antlered King, is that if you are truly hoping to reclaim this throne that you have lost, to reclaim the influence that you once had, I would advise you to think very carefully about how you throw around your weight and how people are responding to that. This world is not the same one that you left, you may have noticed.
I'm not sure if this is the part where you want to roll either persuasion or intimidation.
He doesn't have great pluses in either. I really want this to go well.
Oh. Oh, come on, come on.
Oh, nat 20.
It's a nat 20. Oh, Uni, please describe Xan in this moment as he's saying all this.
And he's just like placed himself between Antler and the potion, and there's just this vague golden glow behind him as, Antler is a bit taller than him, but Xan is not a small man. And he is also not someone who usually, holds himself up very, he's usually sort of awkward and fiddling, and you have never seen him just straight backed, direct eye contact, expression very, very clear and stern. He is not messing around with saying just like, watch your attitude, young man.
And God, with that's a nat 20, man. That's a nat
Sure
20.
was.
I think as man, once that change was obvious in Zan's like posture, his whole thing, that Antler already stands up straight, but he definitely started paying attention, and his eye sockets kind of had that toonish blink for a moment and widen a little bit, because he was not expecting this from the soft-spoken, fidgety old man. He wasn't expecting this at all. But he's staring at you for a good few moments, and he's not saying anything. And oh man, yeah, it's definitely a few moments where you've actually struck him silent for a few moments until slowly the corners of his skeleton mouth kind of, or one corner kind of starts to twitch upward a little bit, and oh, and here I thought you were just no, not important. Well, I'll admit, you surprise me, Mr. Adieu. But you seem very clearly you're serious about this, so very well. I will take what you have said into consideration.
I expect you shall. This conversation is not over.
No, I expect it is not.
And then he gives a short nod and turns back to the potion. Well, I will say the stone that you gave to me to help compound its ability seems to have gone a long way in helping it manifest.
I would certainly hope. And and at this point, Antler has walked around to be on the other side of the cauldron, opposite of Xan.
Mm-hmm. Make a perception check.
All right. Perception, perception. Where is my perception? There it is. 17.
It's at this point, you hear some rustling behind you, and you'd been sort of focused on the potion, but now you realize that a couple more of the Not Toons are peeking in from like the door out of the room, like into the hallway and kitchen. Um, and as soon as you glance over, of course, Raleigh is among them, and he sort of straightens up and tries to look very casual standing by the door.
Antler just looks flatly at all of them. Again, not impressed.
Mm-hmm.
But he slowly turns his head towards Xan and. Well, now, it seems the only thing left to do is to see if it works.
And it like instantly like all of that confidence and poise is starting to drain away as he just like looks very anxious about it because oh God, he's been working so hard on this. Um, and oh God,
Let us.
we we should do a test first to make sure. Everything seems in order, but well, you can't be too careful with something this potent.
Indeed. I don't suppose you have something to test with.
Well, um, he pulls something from his sort of belt. He had a little pouch in there, and he pulls out a long sort of stick. And goes, this may be in order, at least as a practice.
Wait,
And he
is it just a stick?
it is not just a stick.
Oh
You want
man,
you
I
can
want to roll
make
something.
an yeah.
I mean, Antler was a former wizard, currently warlock.
Hmm.
I would say it's probably I want to say it would be obvious to him that he probably at least recognize what it is. Not exactly
He,
what it is, but
he could almost certainly like recognize it as a wand.
Uni, is it the wand I think it is?
It's probably the one you think it is.
Oh, don't mind me, folks. I'm very excited.
Yeah, it is for the moment he pulls it out, it looks mostly just like a sort of dark black uh polished wand. But he sort of waves it in the air briefly, and there's just this uncomfortable, like sickly looking splurt of dark energy that comes from the end of it. Um, and he goes, this, well, this potion was more intended for biological uses, but I think this should at least form a good base for what we're hoping. And he ladles out a small portion of it. of the potion into a little like vial and just kind of dunks the wand in there. Um, and for a second, nothing happens. And then there's sort of the potion, like, kind of boils for a second and darkens, and uh, it's still like it's still like yellow but like has lost the sort of golden like quality to it.
The
Like it's
magic
not,
is gone.
yeah. It takes a deep breath and pulls out the wand, and well, it sure looks like a wand.
I can't.
Gives it,
I can't think of
uh,
anything for Antler to say. He's keeping a watch. He probably prepared. I should have said this before, but before Zan put it in the vial, Antler was prepared to like if something went wrong, like bubbling over and explodey kind of wrong. Antler was prepared to pull Zan away from said explodey because wizards no good to him, uh, mutilated or dead.
of course, of course. Um, and with the wand removed, Zan sort of like, is it a tap? Nothing happens. Chews at his lip for a second. Um, and he points it at like a plant in the far corner, and there's a sort of warp of the dark energy again, but it doesn't look quite as gloppy and dangerous and sickly. It just sort of shoop, and um, the plant changes from sort of normal looking fern to a very elaborately like pruned topiary plant. And he goes, well, that's a promising sign then.
Now to see if it works on something more living. And Antler actually looks
Hmm.
back at the Not Toons, but he looks to be thinking, no.
Really like has instantly like puffed up his chest the instant he makes eye contact, just like, "Yeah, you'd like us to be your guinea pigs, wouldn't you?"
Quite the opposite, actually. Worst case scenario, you all try this and you die. If I try it and it fails and I die, I just come back within a week and we start over. And he looks back at Xan at this point.
Are you are you certain?
As I said, worst case, I'm back within a week. I'm already dead. The worst case here could not affect me very much.
Very well.
Antler will hold out his hand for the ladle.
Then hands it over.
Yeah, Antler takes a. Yeah, he dips the ladle in, scoops a sipping portion out, gives a slight twirl, or not twirl, swirl, whatever. Like when some people do with wine in a wine glass sometimes. Uh,
Yeah.
and roll insight.
Oh boy. It's okay at that. Let's see. Uh, eh.
11. I'm gonna say it's above average. Zan, you could be mistaken, but you're pretty sure a few different expressions flash across Zan's face. Not Zan's face, Antler's face. Blah. I can word.
Names.
Yeah, a few expressions pass over the skeleton's face, and it's a bit too quickly for you to catch all of them. But the last expression that it it ends on is something of a steeled determination, and he lifts the ladle up and takes a sip, which is weird when you're a skeleton, but yeah, he sips it down and then lowers the ladle. Hmm.
How do you feel?
I feel like I'm a skeleton who just drank something and should be expecting it at my feet any moment. Boom! And that is when he suddenly leans forward, grasping at his stomach. And
Is instantly like, oh god,
and I don't know how else to there's so many ways to describe how this happens. It could be like a Beauty and the Beast shining glowing light kind of thing, or it could be something that's more in Antler's wheelhouse, in which muscle and sinew and skin regrowing on a face. I could do that. Yeah, there's maybe it's a mix of both, so that way the light is just a bit bright enough. Antler is suddenly glowing. He is glowing so brightly, and you'd have to really look to see what's happening. But he's just like, just leaning over, grasping his stomach, and this light takes a few moments. There's definitely some not pleasant grunts coming from this skeleton.
oh boy. The Not Toons who were hanging back have also like rushed in, just like, oh god, what is happening?
Antler has managed to stay on his feet by the and by the time the light slowly fades from him, he's no longer glowing. Woohoo! He slowly rises back up and what stands there now is a Toon man with pale white skin, pale red antlers spreading off his head, as well as jet black hair. And when he turns to look at you, Xan, you see very dark brown eyes staring at you. He only stares at you a moment before looking down at himself. His hands, which are no longer that sickly, undead green, they're now living, live flesh. Sounds weird to say in this moment. But he looks for a moment, and he snaps his fingers. And what sparks from it is a spark of electrical blue magic. And he sighs. And he turns back to look at you and goes, "It works."
I'd say so.
As the magic fades from his hand, he's clenching and unclenching his hand, just feeling it for a second, just going, this feels weird.
Yes, I assume it's been a while. Are you? I'm sorry. That looked a little bit painful.
Well,
You need to.
considering I was a lich before, becoming a lich is painful enough. Undoing the process is. I'm not too surprised about how that felt. He's saying this as he is looking down at himself, patting himself down a bit, because there's now no longer just bones there under the clothes. Is now a body, and slowly making his way up to his face, just to the ears, and he actually his hands actually pause a sec when he feels his antlers are there. Hmm. All right then.
I Give me a moment. And Xan comes closer to before like checking and like taking your hand, and he like feels at your wrist and like feels for the pulse, and he goes, "My God, this is fascinating." Um, he lets go and looks up you in the eyes. You have eyes now, and he
Yeah,
goes,
he got eyes.
"Oh, wow."
What?
I
Antler suddenly feels like he is. This is more intention than he was expecting. And he looks between Xan, and then he looks directly at Rowley, like what's happening right now.
Rally is still like he definitely looks shocked, but he's also just like clearly on edge, and then takes a second and goes, "I confess, you have truly impressed me."
Antler looks back at Xan, and once more does a Toonish blink. He now has eyelids to do that with. And he actually has to take a moment to realize that, oh, he has eyelids to do this now. This feels way different than doing it with eye sockets.
Um, and Rally, yeah, goes, "Hold on. He's so ready to take it on his own. How do we still know it's safe for us? Maybe he just made it that it'll give him." And he goes, "Son, the test that we we have to have a little bit of faith here, Rally." And finally, one of the other Not Toons, Yusuf, the older sort of graying wolf, goes, "All right, fine. If you're gonna be a baby about it, I'll do it." Um, and he's like, "Oh, if I," he goes, "I'm old, and if I die, that is not a big deal. I'll just go ahead and take care of it." And sort of breaking the quiet, intense, startled mood of the whole thing. As he goes up and sort of snatches the ladle from you, Antler.
Antler, he himself is in too much of his own kind of daze to even remark or even give the not tuna look for being rude. He's at the moment still kind of looking at his own hands, or no, he's watching the not tunes and Xan, but like he's actually he has a hand on his own wrist to check that. Oh yeah, oh he has a pulse. Oh.
um, and as Yusuf takes a ladle full of the potion and he gives it a sniff, and Rally's sort of like hovering next to him, like, "Oh God, please be careful. I don't know that this is a good idea." Um, but Yusuf takes a gulp and smacks his lips and goes, "I could have added some seasoning to this damn. Ugh. Oh God, terrible taste." And for a hot second, it kind of looks like he's melting. Like suddenly there's just black oozing from him, and for a second you think, "Oh God, something has gone horribly wrong," before you realize it's his line art, um, that is sort of pooling and leaking and falling away and rearranging, and he his body sort of shifts and changes as the line art leaks away and finally pools under him as a shadow. And there is an elderly dwarf man just standing there and is staring. Huh.
Hmm.
Well, the taste is garbage, but it works.
Antler actually has a chuckle at that. And if he had half the mind, he would absolutely throw some kind of look at Rally. Of like, see, I didn't poison it.
And right as you start laughing, the rest of the Not Toons are just like, yo! They all rush in and like start like slapping the this dwarf man on the back, being like, "Oh my God, you have a oh my, do you know your name? What is what's going on?" And they're all so excited, and like grabbing like the ladle from him, being like, "Go get everyone outside! Oh my God, we have to try this out!" And it's suddenly very noisy, very chaotic as everyone just like is, yeah, floored by it happened. The thing happened.
Hey, during
And
this chaos, I think it's safe to presume that Antler has been forgotten. For the
more
most
or
part.
less,
I'm
um,
gonna ask something, and you're not gonna like me for asking it.
oh, good.
Is the wand still out?
No,
Okay.
Xan has tucked it away.
Okay.
Good try, though.
No, I'll explain later of what Antler would have done, but don't worry.
Sure. And as the Not Toots all sort of take their turns, taking a sip at it and letting their false forms fall away, and there's a lot of yelling and laughing and crying and hugging each other. And at a certain point, the little half elf girl that was formerly the unnamed wolf um, goes, "Hey, hey, you did it! You saved us, mister."
Ant- Antler's he's moved to the less noisy corner of the room because he's processing, and then there's a lot of people who are coming in and making noise. So he's kind of just sit there keeping an eye on, still kind of holding his wrist. Uh, but he
But
definitely like blinks out of it and looks at the small elf like, what?
and as she has brought the attention to you, big half orc man who used to be Niels goes, "Hey, yeah, you did it, dude!" And he comes over and he is absolutely going to like pull you into a big ol' hug.
Yeah, Antler's definitely going like, no, no wait, no, no, no.
And there's a lot of just like, yeah, people are piling on you of just like there's a lot of emotions happening, and I'm sorry, Antler, you're part of it right now.
I'm gonna make a roll for Antler real quick. And I get to use this new character sheet for it.
Yay.
Let's see. There's a 12 on a wisdom saving throw.
Oh no.
And and I'm gonna say he's definitely still going like, no, no, stop, put me down. I will cause you physical harm if you do not put me down. I am not made for hugging.
And it's Zan who is like just um sort of stepped back and is watching this, and um he's just kind of laughing at all this, and he goes, "You kind of are now."
I really do not encourage them, please. And there's definitely a look. There's a squint that Antler is giving Xan of the. Oh, you're enjoying this, aren't you?
He unironically is just like he has the biggest smile, and like make an insight check.
All right. I can see using new. It's my insight's still the same. Never mind.
Maybe the dice will be nice this time. Yeah, yeah.
18.
There you go. Yeah, he like you look at him expecting Zan to just be like being kind of smug and enjoying your discomfort, but there is just such genuine smile of relief and excitement and joy, and there are like tears in his eyes because he has been working on this for so long, and he had you saw how anxious he was, and you can tell he was starting to doubt himself that he would ever be able to help his friends, and it's happened. And you got him there, as little as you might like to admit it, and he is just genuinely overjoyed.
The few moments watching Zan's face, Antler's expression has not softened, but it's eased up a little bit, and he sighs and shakes his head a bit before addressing the I think you said orc, the orc fellow,
Yeah, half orc.
half orc fellow, just goes, "This is a one-time thing. Never again. Am I clear?"
Sure, bud, but you gotta lighten up. We're having a party. Um, and I need to do a brief perception check. Um, nice. And as you're sort of uh the half orc, he puts you down, but is still like clapping you on the back, and everyone is just having a grand old time. And Zan looks over, and there is one person left who has not yet taken his dose.
Let me
Well,
guess.
he's
Yeah.
just looking at it all. The clearly, um, how to put it, conflicted expression.
Yeah, I can't imagine why. Okay.
Yeah,
Shall I roll a perception to see if Antler also notices?
sure.
18.
Nice. Yeah, you totally notice that uh Raleigh has sort of let everyone else go first, and he's just been watching you, Antler, the whole time with like it is not as intense a dislike as before, but there's still just clearly hesitation and nerves there. And Antler, you can see Zan go over and talk to him very quietly, to check in on him.
I'm I'm gonna flip a coin. I'm gonna flip a coin over what Antler does next. Okay. No one else is hugging Antler at the moment, yeah?
They're all sort of bustling around you, but no one has you like, grappled or whatever.
Cool, cool. With the freedom of his legs regained, Antler is going to go. Where is Raleigh? Is Raleigh by the cauldron or what?
Yeah, he's over like near the cauldron still.
Okay. Antler is gonna go over to the table first, and grab. I guess there's probably not really a cup. I guess he'll grab a vial.
Mm.
Grab a vial, and then he will go over to the cauldron. He has definitely made eye contact with Raleigh a few times while doing this to make sure Raleigh is watching him. He goes over to the cauldron, picks up the ladle, and he fills up the vial, and then puts a cork on it and holds it out to Raleigh.
What's this for?
What do you think? Distrust, distrust me all you like, but you will have to make a decision sooner or later. This is for later. And again, he holds out the vial a bit further.
Raleigh goes and snatches it out of Antler's hand. He uncorks it, gives you the stink eye, and downs it.
It appears later is now then. And he says that while looking at Xan. But Antler does not wait to see how Raleigh changes. He will actually turn and start heading for the door.
And you hear Raleigh sort of, and Zane goes, hold on. Wait. And Raleigh is sort of doubled over, and his line art is reshaping a bit less readily, a bit more slowly, and it does fall away into a real kind man's form. Um, but he, oh, Antler, do you look back?
Yeah, I think when Xan when he heard Xan say wait, he expected the pain grunt. Honestly, if just because magic and everything, and that whole like, oh, if you're not ready to do this, magic can sometimes not affect you as well as it needs to. But in any case, Antler does stop and does look back.
So you see a man who his hair is like, when I say it's copper, I mean it's like metallic copper. And his eyes are just like pure blue, like just like the sclera are all just like completely this faintly glowing blue color. And there's this halo of light behind his head. As he's just sort of like doubled over as Xan is trying to help him keep on his feet because it seemed to have hit especially hard. And Antler, I need you to make one more perception check for me.
Okie dokie. Where's my perception? Where are you? There you are. 14.
14. That's enough. So you noticed when you first met the various Not Toons, like none of them have shadows. And as the potion has cured them and had their reshaped light art shadows given away, this man, he like has sort of, well, the tune term would be the cell shading, the like shading on his actual body, but there is still nothing underneath him.
Antler
Uh,
tilts back his head and sighs. And he's gonna walk back over to the other side of Rowley, and I'm gonna do. Guess I'm gonna do. I want to say either an Arcana check? Question mark.
sure.
Feel like Arcana check is at play here since it is magic-y stuff. 18.
An 18. What are you trying to discern?
He's trying to discern if this is Rowley fighting physically fighting the effects of the potion, or
Um,
or if this is the effects of, if it's Rowley or Rowley's condition that's fighting back, I should say.
it you are able to determine it is not rally. Yeah, it is not that he is trying to fight back against the potion. It is that there is something else that has sort of gotten in the way of it taking full effect. And he seems very winded by the whole thing, more so than everyone else sort of was, and it takes him a second to realize how close you've gotten to inspect. And he sort of flinches back and staggers because, oh God, suddenly everything is different, and oh, and he blinks at you and blinks at Xan and looks down at himself and um,
Hmm?
and he just looks kind of confused and holds like he presses a hand against his sort of forehead and is like uh and, and Zan sort of takes another step towards him because he jerked away from you at and he goes, Riley, are you all right? He goes, something's wrong. I don't. And he glares at you again, Antler, and um he's just like has a moment of like you could tell he's like trying to figure out if you did the if somehow whatever has gone wrong is your fault.
Well, currently the expression. I don't know if you want to make Rowley roll insight, but Antler's current. I'm going to tell you, Uni. Antler's current mindset is that he's trying to puzzle out exactly what's happening, and how to fix this without rooting the potion. And that look Rowley's given him. That's not. I mean, that's never surprising. This is Rowley. He's used to it at this point. He's gonna actually look at Xan and go. Oh God, wait, hold on. Before I do say that, Uni, out of character. I'm blanking on on potions 1. They told Antler about the wand being the cause of their condition. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just double checking to make sure, that way I'm not breaking anything in the timeline. And yeah, he will look at Xan and go, I suppose it's a good thing you fixed the wand. If it's
I suppose. And like the moment is then like the tension in the moment is broken as again, the half-orc man has just scooped up Rowley in his arms, be like, "Hey, look at you, you beanpole! Oh my God, look at this face! Come on, what's your real name?" Everybody's sharing who they are with each other, and they're all like cheering and grabbing Rowley and pulling him into the group as they all are just they have not noticed the incomplete sort of nature of Rowley's transformation as he kind of glances back at you, Antler, again and frowns, but lets the rest pull him away. Um,
Antler watches this happens and kind of just not looking away says to Xan, "Should we stop them? In case he, I don't know, blows up."
um, I doubt that is the nature of whatever this is. But
Well, let me know if he starts to melt or something. And once again, Antler, seeing as the tension has been broken, and Antler doesn't feel like sticking around to wait and see what conclusion Riley comes to about this situation. Assuming Riley is not dying imminently.
yeah, and he, as you turn to go, Zan will glance between the two groups, and he will actually follow you out while the rest of the group talks. Um, and he says, "Well, what will you do now?"
First, I'm going outside to find something to shoot at. Antler says this as he is calmly walking down the halls towards back towards the exit.
Very well. And you can see there's a little bit of the just like, uh-huh. And Zan, his pace speeds up and he goes, "Come with me then."
I assuming you have something in mind then.
Of course. And he leads you outside to a sort of part of the clearing where it's, less grassy, a little more worn down, probably just by everyone messing around with each other. Uh, Out of character is probably the area where like Blake did a lot of the training for Toon
Aw.
shenanigans. Um, and then sort of claps his hands together and touches the dirt, and a few like uh, figures just sort of raise out of the dirt, like reshaping. And he sweeps a hand to you and goes, "There you go. No need for you to go blasting anything in the area."
Very well then. Antler will give Xan a nod and keep his thoughts to himself for the moment as he walks past Xan, and I'm going to, let's see, let me have a look at that. It's time to cast some magic. I gotta look at the spell real quick though. Alright. So he is going to he's gonna focus on one of them and raise a hand, and once more the blue crackling of electrical magic sparks around his hand. And he looks at it a moment, he's focused now. And then he holds it out, and three glowing darts of magical energy form and shoot out and immediately hit the dummy thing. Words.
Mm-hmm. And Zan raises an eyebrow and he goes, "Ah, working from first level and finding where the barrier is then?
Something like that. More of just to confirm something.
Zan again taps at the ground and another like figure pops up and goes, "Well, take your time. Experimentation is key."
Alright, I'm gonna. Ah, no, stop, stop, stop! Ah, I'm clicking the wrong thing! I just wanna. No, I just wanna select. I just wanna copy and paste this. Okay, I'm just gonna copy this and send this to you, Uni.
Okay.
And then I'm gonna cast another spell. Because I can. I will, so I have cast a first level spell. Now we're gonna go for second level. You know what? He's gonna go with this one. So this one, I believe I do need to roll to hit. Don't I? Do I? Wait. No, I don't, because it's. I don't. Okay. Yeah. He holds out his hand again, focusing magic, and then the earth, the earth. The earth. He has to get a bit closer, so the thing is within 10 feet before. I don't suppose you can make a dummy make a deck save.
Probably not. No.
Yeah. I'm gonna say since it's a dummy, you see the earth shake around it, and suddenly a splintering crack goes up the dummy, and it just falls apart.
Hmm.
Earth tremor works fine. Let's try something a bit more. It's another deck save. A lot of deck save spells. I realize I picked out.
A lot of stuff for dodging.
Yeah, a lot of stuff for dodging, which these dummies cannot do. As Antler raises both hands and flames ignite in his palms, and he shoots them forward as roaring flame comes out and fries the dummy to a crisp.
Some nice baked clay.
Very nice baked clay.
Zed is just watching all of this very intently.
Yeah, and I think another deck save. Wow, I'm going to the 4th level spells, and it's another deck save spell. Jeez, I didn't do this on purpose. I swear. Okay, the next one is a volley.
Actually,
yes.
you know what? I'll do something
Something to
fun
make this
just to see.
to make this interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, whoa. A 22. And as you're getting ready to sort of fire up your next spell, and all of the dummies have just kind of been dummies and just sort of sat there as you ripped them apart, and suddenly, right as you're lobbing this spell at it, it just sort of like shifts and just warps along the ground, and Zan's sort of sitting behind you is sort of tracing his finger and grinning.
Antler slowly turns his head and just cocks an eyebrow, because he has an eyebrow now, at Xan.
You seemed like you wanted something a little more true to life, didn't you?
Very amusing. Before turning back, and don't really have any other. We're just gonna do the the other spell, the first spell again. This time at 5th, sending it at 5th level, which is basically a. Ah, no, it has it in here for me. Ah, D&D Beyond, thank you for having things in here. Yeah, he focuses, and he summons more magical darts, a few more this time at higher level, and because those don't miss, and he's gonna shoot that out again, and ping, 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 into the dummy, and then just.
And it effectively crumbles into pieces again.
Yeah. It says that is the last of the 5th level.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna make a roll. I'm gonna roll a d20. Because I had a reason for this, I swear. Oh. That does me nothing.
Right in the middle.
Right in the middle, and I'm looking at the effect that can have, and it doesn't... I'm gonna roll again, because that doesn't really... That's not an effect, that just... Okay, there we go. What's a modron?
Modron?
Yeah. Effect.
I have no idea.
A modron chosen and controlled by the DM appears in an unoccupied space within 5 feet of you, then disappears 1 minute later. I have no idea what the heck that is. This is the part. This is the part where we Google, folks. That's right, in the middle of a D&D session. Oh, it's a bug thing. What the frick is that?
Oh.
It's a thing.
Cool.
So here, I'm just gonna put this in roll zone. I'll have to put it up in the nope. I'll have to put it up in the video. Hello, what the heck? They are, I guess, weird looking automaton things that look very disturbing. Yeah, so Antler basically casts that spell, and he turns his head to give a semi-smug, the air of smugness towards Xan until suddenly between them, one of a flying eyeball mechanical thing suddenly pops into existence.
And Xan just sort of blinks and stares at it. He goes, "And what's that for?"
I have no idea. And I just imagine this thing kind of just doing that weird little dance.
I like how you make that noise and I know instantly what dance you mean.
Yeah. And Antler just goes, oh, all right.
I'll have Xan make an Arcana check.
Yep. 22.
Nice.
Yeah, that's
22.
Xan, you're a wizard. You know what wizard spells looks like. You know what the effect. You know what effects wizard spells has. This is not wizard spells. This is not wizard-esque magic. That is this weird thing that is dancing between you and Antler is not an effect of a wizard spell. It's an effect of wild magic, which sorcerers have.
And Xan takes a deep breath and sort of cocks his head to the side and goes, "You really have experienced the full gamut of magic at this point, haven't you?"
Unfortunately.
Well, it gives you a plentiful opportunity to study new things, doesn't it?
And Antler looks down at his hand as the magic fades away. It is not the magic I was expecting to get back, but it is mine.
And Xan edges around the little buddy, and comes up beside Antler, and again just sort of gives him a look over, and he goes, "I asked you before, but how do you feel? None of the backlash from before, or?"
Antler takes a breath, like an actual breath, where you can see him breathing through the nose and his chest rising. And he holds it for a moment before letting it out. And Xan, you can see he's physically processing the feeling of that. And he goes, "I have not needed to breathe in over 200 years. I do not know how I feel. I feel and I do not know what to think of that just yet.
Well, must be hungry.
In that moment, because, Toons, at that moment, you hear a low gurgle, gurgle. And, and Antler has the closest thing you've seen to startled as this man has before he looks down at himself and goes, "Ah, I've not felt that in 200 years either."
Well, we'll see if we can skirt the crowd and get you something to save a few 100 years worth of diet.
Oh, I'm just realizing I'm going to need to eat again. And sleep. And Antler does not look overly pleased about this.
And Xan smiles and he goes, "Yes, I'm afraid so. But you may find it's more enjoyable than you first remembered."
Hmm.
And
I'm gonna roll another D2 real quick. It's a 1. Okay. I imagine Xan has started walking back towards the house.
yeah.
And as you do, Antler has started to follow, but not directly beside you. And you just hear from behind you, "Thank you, Mr. Adieu." That felt weird saying that.
You're welcome. And he looks back and smiles. "Thank you. Antlered King."
I kind of want to make you roll insight because there's a look on Antler's face. But you're rolling. Okay, cool. 5.
Not good.
You don't know the look that crosses Antler's face. There's a raised eyebrow, and he blinks, but you're still getting used to seeing expressions on a living, fleshy face. And it quickly goes away as Antler shakes his head and starts walking ahead of you, and goes, "I feel the need to remind you that I still only did this for selfish reasons."
And yet you still did it.
What else was there to do?
Xan catches up to you and grabs your hand for a second, and he goes, and it was like just a brief moment so that he could like catch your attention. He's not like holding onto your hand.
Okay, yeah, because Antler definitely froze up, and that definitely stopped him.
And he goes, "I meant what I said earlier, but regardless of your intentions, you have done something incredible today. He glances up to the, above building that you guys left behind. He goes, "I need you to know that, unfortunately, they are likely going to think of you as a hero, and there's going to be little you can do to dissuade that."
Is it bad? I'm hoping Rowley still sees me as the enemy. This gratitude you've all shown is foreign to me. I need not explain why. I imagine it's obvious. Fine. Think what you will. And Antler will turn and start towards the house.
And in fact, as you head back up, you will see the man formerly known as Rowley is standing and waiting for you there.
Inside the mind of Antler. Oh no! Please hate him. Please let there be a look of disdain or distrust. Something. Rowley, please. He is putting all his bets on you at this moment. He's not showing it. I need to tell you that Antler has the biggest poker face, but he's looking at Rowley like, please tell me you at least still hate me.
I have wonderful news for you, Antler.
Oh, thank God.
He is just watching with this intense look of distrust and suspicion, and Xan, who's right behind you, goes, "Oh, Rally, are you feeling better?" And he gives a brief nod, goes, Yeah, it's Errol, actually. Um, can I talk to Tall, Dark, and Ugly?
Antler will look over at Xan. He doesn't seem opposed to it.
Very well. Um, I'll go prepare something for everyone to eat. And as he passes by Errol and gives him a small pat on the shoulder and heads inside.
As soon as
Yeah.
Xan is out of earshot, Antler's gonna say, I have a feeling I'm about to find out if that tea is actually digestible or not.
It's water.
Oh joy.
Hmm. Look, I don't think I'm breaking any wild and crazy new ground by saying I still don't trust you.
And you shouldn't, quite frankly.
Zan is a softie. He likes to see the best in people.
So I've noticed.
And as you probably noticed, that's what got us in this problem in the first place. A lot of us are going to be getting back to our old lives soon.
Hmm.
But I need you to keep your head on a swivel.
Antler raises a brow at that. You will need to elaborate. Is that a threat or a request?
You've done a pretty big favor here. I'm not going to deny that, but
Even though I did it mainly for myself.
I'm fully aware of that.
Just making sure.
All I'm saying is, people who get involved with Zan tend to get attention, for better or worse. I hope you're ready for that.
Attention is what I've been looking for. What kind of attention? Well, I look forward to finding out.
And you won't mind me popping in your neck of the woods every now and then to make sure.
And there's a Antler had a pretty steady expression going, but this as Errol
Errol.
Errol. Oh man, I gotta get used to that.
Hmm.
As Errol says that, a light grin appears on Antler's face, as if an amusing thought has just occurred to Antler, and Antler simply nods. Well, I don't think I could stop you.
You really couldn't. And he turns and goes back inside.
I want you all. I would like to say this for the audience. Inside the mind of Antler is the thought of Rowley visiting Ruindal, stepping into one of Ruby's traps, and getting a paint can to the face. That is what's happening in Antler. That is the thought bubble that is appearing over Antler's head at the moment before before it dissipates and he walks in. It's late.
And
It's late anyways. Probably best he stays put for at least a night.
yeah, everyone is just having a great time, enjoying each other. Ellie, as soon as he's like not glaring you down, he's actually really happy to be amongst the rest of the group, and they're all chatting and putting together their memories and relationships and identities, and Zed is amongst them and just looks the most delighted you've ever seen him. And also there's tea, and it's hot water.
I'm sorry, Xan. Antler's gonna tell you that straight out. It's bad tea. This is not tea.
And Zan genuinely has no idea what you're talking about, but he shows you the kitchen so that you can make some more to your liking.
Of course he does.
Um, and I think, unless you have anything else you want to cover.
Um. No, no. I guess just the image I have in my head is during the group while the group is regathering their memories and their names and everything, and having a good time with each other. Antlers has put himself probably at a doorway, not joining in, but not leaving, because someone would probably stop him if he tried.
Probably.
And he's just been watching, thinking, and yeah, I think that's a good place to end it.
Yeah.
It finally happened, folks.
It happens.
Look at them. Look at them faces.
Them have face.
They're bad. They're good. They're better. Uni. Uni. You have to. I am. Listen. One, speaking as a fan of 11th Law. I'm very happy right now. Very delighted.
Oh God, people. I hope this was as good for you as it was for us because we've been very excited about this.
So excited.
And thank you so much for listening. And recording stop now. Bye.
Bye.